The next exemption is under section 10 subsection 18. It speaks about the pension paid to gallantry award winners. It is gallantry award winners. Do you know the gallantry awards? Like Veer Chakra, Paramveer Chakra, Mahavir Chakra. Yes, those
मैम
persons.
वो जो गवर्नमेंट देती है वो
जी
रिवॉर्ड्स
जी
ना?
जी, यस यस यस, जो गवर्नमेंट देती है ना, सेंट्रल और स्टेट गवर्नमेंट ही तो देती है. इट इज अवॉर्डेड बाय सेंट्रल और स्टेट गवर्नमेंट. सच अवार्ड्स आर वीर चक्र, महावीर चक्र, परमवीर चक्र. Any pension paid to such individuals, those who have received these awards, would be exempted from tax. What amount will be exempted? Not awards and rewards, the amount from awards and rewards. No. The pension that is paid to such persons, to those persons who had received gallantry awards, who are, I mean, who had been winners of such gallantry awards paid by central or state government. So the amount of pension that has been given to them will be exempted from tax. Okay, next. This was about 18th, and 19th is also about pension, but it is a family pension received by family of an individuals in the armed forces. Now I am talking about armed forces like soldiers, okay, navy soldier, armed soldiers. So I'm talking about soldiers. So here, if soldier has died, here if a soldier has died, his pension will be given to his family members. Suppose his wife, suppose a soldier has died, and now family pension will be given to whom? His wife. So the family pension which is given to the persons belonging to the armed forces, okay, after their deaths, the whole amount which is given as a family pension to their family members will be exempted under section 10 subsection 19. To their families, no amount of tax is charged. Are you getting my example? See, see, it is written here. If an individual was a member of armed forces, including paramilitary forces of India, suppose I mean, he or she died in the course of operational duty. While while doing the duty, they died, okay, and subject to specific condition, the family pension paid to the individual's family. Now, suppose that particular person, that soldier died. Now, to their family members, the pension will be given. That would be exempted from tax. Okay. Now, family members include, I mean, who all is included in family members? Widows, children, or nominated heirs of the individual. I mean, somebody who is legal heir of that individual. Okay. Next, exemption under section 10 subsection 32. It speaks about a minor child. Can a minor child earn? Yes, of course. आजकल आप टेलीविजन पे देख रहे होगे, है ना, छोटे छोटे बच्चे, दे परफॉर्म, दे डांस, दे सिंग, दे आई मीन ब्रिंग आउट देयर टैलेंट्स, हिडन टैलेंट्स बिफोर एवरीबडी. तो ना वो टेलीविजन के देखो, एक ही एग्जांपल बता रही हूँ मैं, टेलीविजन का, उसमें से ही वो अर्न करते हैं, है ना. ये तो एक एग्जांपल है, ऐसे बहुत सारे टाइप्स हैं जिसमें से एक माइनर अर्न कर सकता है, राइट. तो माइनर की जो इनकम होती है ना, दैट इज क्लब्ड विद देयर पेरेंट्स, जॉइंट विद देयर पेरेंट्स. ठीक है, माइनर पे तो टैक्स नहीं लगा सकते ना, इसीलिए उसकी इनकम को ना क्लब कर दिया जाता है विद द इनकम ऑफ एन एसएससी. एसएससी मतलब द पर्सन हु इज लायबल टू पे द टैक्स. उनका कोई बच्चा है जो इनकम अर्न करता है, देयरफॉर उनकी इनकम और माइनर की इनकम क्लब की जाती है. क्लब मीन्स मिला दी जाती है, मर्ज कर दी जाती है. The income of minor will be merged with the income of their parents. Okay, and after merging, there will be a benefit of exemption also, but up to the limit of 1500. See here. Let me read the full sentence. Section 64 1A of subsection 1A of Income Tax Act 1961 states that The provision for clubbing of income of minor child. How you can club, how much amount is to be clubbed, with whom we can club. All these things are stated in section 64. Okay, with parents we can club. Okay, so if you have mother who is earning, if you have father who is also earning, so with whom you can earn, I mean you can club your income. So that is also stated under section 64. If therefore a tax paying parent has clubbed the income of his or her minor child with his or her income, the parents can claim, the parent can claim the exemption on that income that has been clubbed. Because you have clubbed, no, because clubbing means you have a child who is earning income and he is a minor, and therefore your with your income, your minor child's income is also being clubbed. So because it is clubbed, you will get a benefit of section 32, 10 subsection 32. You will get a benefit of section 10 subsection 32, which says whatever the amount of whatever the amount of income which is earned by a minor child will be exempted, and the benefit will be given to parents, of course, because the income is clubbed with their parents' income, no? So benefit will be given to parents. They can claim the exemption. They can enjoy the exemption benefits, but to the limit of per child 1500 rupees. INR means rupees. Per child 1500. Suppose you have two children. So both are earning. Both are minor. So you will take 3000 benefit of exemption, because it is per child INR 1500. Actual amount or 1500 per child, whichever is lower. Lower means maximum 1500. That's what I told you, no? Maximum 1500 means above 1500 it will not be exempted. So exemption is allowed up to 1500 per child. It's not 15,000, huh? It's 1500 per child exemption is given. Next. Next we have exemption under section 10 subsection 33. And what it says? Income earned from UTI. What is UTI? Unit Trust of India. Now, Unit Trust of India, this is a company. This is a government company. Okay. So, if you earn any amount of income after selling, after transferring the assets or the shares or the securities of Unit Trust of India, you earn something after selling, no? That income would be exempted from tax as per section 10 subsection 33. Okay. Is it clear? Any doubt up till this slide? Please
मैम ये
share.
वाला स्लाइड रिपीट करो ना, वो मेरा
Okay.
नेटवर्क लाइट
10
चली गई.
subsection 33 says any income that you earn from the transfer or sale of assets of unit scheme. Assets of unit schemes means securities of UTI, shares of UTI, okay, debentures of UTI, maybe bonds of UTI. If you have purchased the bonds, debentures, shares, securities of UTI, UTI is a government company, Unit Trust of India. So suppose you are purchasing shares, debentures, bonds of UTI, and now you want to sell it off. After selling, you earn some income, right? And that particular income is exempted under section 10, subsection 33. That's what it says. Is it clear? UTI is Unit Trust of India. You
यस मैम.
must know this. This is government
यस मैम.
company. Okay. Now, next, very easy, very simple. I have already explained you in the scope of total income, this particular point. What it says, I'll repeat again. Exemption under section 10, subsection 34 on income from dividends. You remember? I told you income from
यस
Indian
मैम.
companies.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, dividend from Indian companies are allowed as deduction. I mean allowed as exemption. Okay. So here Indian companies ka dividend is completely exempted. Okay. I can't move this slide. Okay, this is the last one. So how many we did? Let's get a quick revision. Why is this blank? I don't know. Okay. I'll tell you why this is blank. This is because I wanted to put something here, but then later on I felt that we can discuss it in the chapter of salaries. The next chapter we have is salaries. We can discuss it there. So I think I should remove, or I will add on few points here, and then I will share this slide to you. I mean this particular PPT to you through Google Classroom. Okay. But we will discuss it during the chapter of salaries. I will not discuss it. I will fill the slide and I will give it to you. Okay. Now we did section 1, a quick revision of section 1 and subsection 10 subsection 1 is agricultural income. That is fully exempted. We did 4 types of agricultural income that you can earn, which will be fully exempted. Section 2 was about income received by co-partners from HUF, which is fully exempted because HUF being an artificial person already pays tax. Same subsection, I mean same rule with profit earned from partner by the partners from a firm falls under section 10 subsection 2A, which is fully exempted. We also did section 10 subsection 10D, which speaks about the compensation, the benefits that we receive from life insurance policies, and that is exempted. And we have a 10 subsection 15, which is interest on income. So certain incomes are there, certain investments are there on which if you receive the interest will be exempted under section 10 subsection 15. Section 16 was, I mean section 10 subsection 16 was scholarship. Scholarship received for education. So first of all, it should be received from any government or government approved body, that is in university, educational board, educational trust, and then it should be utilized for the purpose of meeting the actual expenditures of the education by the student. Therefore, it will be exempted, completely exempted. Next, we have 10 subsection 17. It is related to the allowances which are paid to MPs and MLAs. Therefore, it will be exempted because MPs and MLAs are the members of the Parliament and Legislative Assembly. Parliament and Legislative Assembly is already a local authority as an artificial person, already paying tax. So why will members pay tax again? Exemption under section 10 subsection 17A on awards and rewards. If awards and rewards are received by central or state government or any other body which is approved by central or state government, will be exempted under this particular section. Next section is 10 subsection 18, which says pension received by winners of gallantry awards. If the family pension is paid to them, or if the family pension has some conditions to be fulfilled for exemption limits, but individual is, if suppose individual is receiving a pension and that individual was the winner of gallantry award, it will be completely exempted. 10 subsection 19 speaks about those armed persons belonging to individuals belonging to armed forces category, and if after their deaths the family members will receive the pension. In that case, the family pension which is received by, the pension which is received by the family members will be completely exempted, wholly exempted. Next we have section 10 subsection 32, which is the income of the minor child. So it says first you have to club the income of the minor child with their parents. Okay, the income of the minor child will be clubbed, will be merged with the income of their parents, and parents will be eligible to get the benefit of exemption, which is up to rupees 1500 maximum per child. Okay. Next we did 10 subsection 33, that is UTI, income from you, any unit scheme of UTI, any unit scheme, whatever you purchase from UTI. And if you want, if you sell it off in the market or you transfer it to somebody, if you earn any income, it will be exempted under section 10 subsection 33. Last but not the least, we have exemption under section 10 subsection 34. Section 10 subsection 34, which says income from dividend. Let me tell you, this speaks only about dividend from Indian companies, which is that exempted. Okay, so done with this chapter. Let me see if I can start with another one, but uh, I will not be able to, because if I start, I will not be able to complete it. Uh, so maybe in the another lecture we can start. Till then, you have to keep revising all these chapters. I mean, the chapter of residential status, scope of total income, exempted incomes. You have to keep revising it. Is there any other
Okay,
doubt
ma'am.
regarding all these points that we have covered today? Please let me
No,
know.
ma'am.
No? Good. Okay, so we have a lot of time. We can start with the format of income from house property. Before that, let me see how much time is left over for me. Before that, I will guide you about a chapter which is known as heads of incomes. I think I will not be able to start with the chapter income from house property, but a small chapter that we have is heads of income. Let me cover that. That would be okay with, I mean, this much time which is left over for us. Okay. Now there are few heads of income. What do you mean by heads of income? Can anybody tell me? What do you mean by heads of income? Heads of income means there are different types and sources of incomes that a single person can earn. Suppose I am earning from my employer, he gives me salary. So is that only one income that I can earn? Is it compulsory that only one income is there that I can earn? One type of income?
No, ma'am.
No. I can
No.
earn from, if suppose I have a
Different.
savings. Yes, different sources. Suppose I have savings from past 3 years. Suppose I have saved my money 5 lakhs rupees. I can invest that money somewhere. I can earn interest. I can earn dividend. So that also is my income, no? Apart from salary, that also forms a part of income. Okay. Suppose I have that savings of 5 lakhs rupees. I earn salary from a part-time job. Up to morning, up to afternoon, I am busy with the part-time job and I earn salary. Half day. Okay. Part-time job is half day. Another rest of the day, I thought to start with my own business, which I can start from maybe evening 4 o'clock to late evening 9 or 10 o'clock. Okay. So I thought to start with my own salon. That's my business. That's my profession. Okay. So starting up a salon brings you in the business, brings you in the profession. So you can earn from that also, business or profession. Apart from earning salary, you can earn from business and profession. You can save your money in bank account in fixed deposits. You can purchase shares of banks of any other company, corporate company. Okay, you can earn dividend from that particular investment. If you have taken fixed deposit as an investment option, you can earn interest from that particular option. I hope you are getting. I hope you are understanding with what do I mean of heads of incomes. Heads of incomes means there are different sources and different types of incomes that a single person can earn. It is not a limitation that a single person can earn from a single source. No, it is not like that. Okay, so 5 different heads we have. 5. First is income from salaries. So maybe next chapter we can start with income from salaries only, because the first head is income from salaries. Okay, and it is the biggest chapter ever. We will see, we will notice it is a very big chapter. There are many sections that we have to study first before going on to the practical questions. We have practical questions. From now onwards, every chapter will have a practical questions which will be asked in the question paper. Okay. Next heading we have income from house property. This is also a type of income that we earn. This is also a type of income that we earn. Now, do you understand the income, the income which is earned from the salaries? Do you understand that? Should I elaborate it? What is salary? What is salary? When there is an employee-employer relationship, when somebody is there as your boss and you're working under him and you're working for him, then he will pay you the salary. Whom the salary is paid to? Whom the salary is paid to? Yes, salary
Employees.
is paid to employees. Very good. Salary is paid to employees. And who will pay the salary? Who is going to pay the salary?
Employer.
Yes, employer. So employer-employee relation should be there, no? Otherwise, salary does not comes in picture. For it to work, we need to become an employee for an employer. If I'm working for somebody, I'm receiving salary. Okay, so income from house property. Let me come to the next one, income from house property. Suppose you have your own house and you rent it out. You earn rental income. Do you earn rental income? If suppose a PG comes in your house, paying guest. Suppose PG comes in your house and he started living in your house with your permission, of course. So he will pay you a certain amount of money which is known as rent for you. He will pay you something, and that amount is known as rental income. Rent. When you rent your house property or when you lent your house property, Lent, lent. Lent means जब हम किसी को अपना घर यूज करने के लिए दे
भाड़े
रहे
पे.
हैं. हाँ, भाड़े पे. एग्जैक्टली द वर्ड दैट इज यूज्ड. हम हिंदी में कहते हैं इसे भाड़े पे. मतलब किसी को आपने थोड़े टाइम के लिए, फॉर सम पीरियड ऑफ टाइम, यू हैव गिवन योर हाउस to an individual, to a guest, to a tenant. Tenant means किराएदार. Somebody calls it as tenant. Okay, so you can call it as your own way. But if you lent to them your house property for some period of time on a mutual agreement, okay, so it will become a rental house property. And the rental house property, from that particular rental house property, you earn income which is known as rent. And that is also an income which comes under second heading of the incomes. There are 5 headings of the incomes, heads. Okay. Third head, income of, income from business or profession. Okay. Or you can say vocation. Now, what do you mean by income from business? Let us discuss one by one. What do you mean by income from business? What is business? Suppose you buy and sell any type of product. Okay. Suppose you buy and sell any type of product is your business. Suppose you have a business of selling umbrellas, winter coats, and summer coats, and you have rainy coats. Suppose you have a business in that area. So you will buy seasonal type products and you will sell it to the customers. That is your business. Business means throughout the year you are carrying on the trading activities, buying and selling the type of commodities, different type of products. Okay, so that is particularly known as income from business. Now, what is profession? What is the difference between business and profession? Can anybody tell me what is the difference between business or profession? Yes. See, in business, you don't need any qualification, educational qualification. You can right away open a shop, keep the goods, buy the goods, keep it there in a display, and you can sell it off without any qualification, educational qualification, certificate. If you go to a shop to purchase maybe stationery, maybe some books, maybe some kind of डेली यूजेबल थिंग्स जैसे सोप हुआ शैम्पू हुआ ओके जब आप ये चीजें खरीदने जाते हैं व्हेन यू गो टू सच शॉप्स टू बाय दीज थिंग्स I do you ask person a shopkeeper that whether he has any certificate to sell it off in the market, whether he has any certificate or educational qualification to open up a business and sell these kinds of products in the market. You never ask such persons, no, you never ask a shopkeeper, why are you selling, do you have a certificate? No. But if you go to a doctor, yes, he will have a educational qualification. Definitely he must have a educational qualification. To become a doctor he must study how to become a doctor. He must have an educational qualification. He must have a certificate which shows that he is a professional doctor. Yes, if you go to a teacher, she must have a subject knowledge. She must have a qualification. No, I am MBA, I am MCom, right? I have done CMA, I have done CFA, and I can teach students. So I must have a good qualification to make others teach, right? To make others learn, to make others understand. Whatever I want to make you understand, I must first have knowledge about that particular topic or subject. So before that I have already covered those things during my education period, right? So I must have education. Being a teacher, educational qualifications are required, right? Lawyer must have see, you have been visiting the college, you must know our college has a law section. There separately a law section is there in our college. So students are there to come, who come and study and take 3-4 years to learn about law, right? So they also have a qualification, educational qualification. The certificate should be possessed by such persons who want to become a professional and into, if they want to go into any profession, they must possess educational qualification. Now what is the vocation? Vocation means related to art and gallery. Like suppose if you have a tailor, if you are a tailor, you can stitch goods, you can stitch cloth material, convert the cloth material into t-shirts, shirts, dresses, okay, kurtas. That is an art, no, that everybody does not have. That is an art. Okay, mehendi, applying mehendi is an art. So that has become a business. But see, vocation is a part of business only, but it is related to art. Selling goods is not an art. Yes, somewhere it is an art, but actually, if you come to, particularly if I tell you about art and galleries and different type of special gifts that are there with certain persons, drawing, paintings, and then mehendis, and then स्कल्पचर्स, ओके, आइडल्स. देखे हैं आपने वो रास्ते पे ऐसे मटके बने हुए रहते हैं, देखे हैं ऐसे पुतले बने हुए रहते हैं भगवान के. और मतलब बोलना नहीं चाहिए पुतले, बट देन आइडल्स जो होते हैं भगवान के, और किसी भी मूर्ति, कोई भी मूर्ति जैसे बना लेना, है ना, ये सारी आर्ट होती है लोगों में. तो जो ये आर्ट होती है ना, इन्हें कहते हैं वोकेशन, इनकम फ्रॉम वोकेशन. आपने देखा वो सॉफ्ट टॉयज बना सकते हैं. इफ आई मेक अ सॉफ्ट टॉय फ्रॉम माय ओन हैंड, है ना, तो वो जो सॉफ्ट टॉय मैंने अपने हाथ से बनाया ना, वो भी तो मैं बेचूंगी. आई विल सेल इट इन द मार्केट. ओके, तो जो सॉफ्ट टॉय बनाने का आर्ट है, द आर्ट ऑफ मेकिंग द सॉफ्ट टॉय is, I mean, headed to the income from vocation. Is it clear? Making greeting cards, etc. There are many examples that you have. Okay, next we have income from capital gain. income from capital gains. Now, what is this capital gain? Suppose you have a factory and you want to sell it off. After selling, you earned income. That comes here in the fourth heading. Suppose you have a house property. Now, ma'am, house property is in second heading. What I'm saying is, listen carefully. If that house property is kept on the rental basis, comes in the second heading. If that house property is sold off, completely sold off, now the ownership is not belongs to you. It belongs to somebody else to whom you have sold the house property. Then it comes under fourth heading. Did you get the difference between house property which is on the rental basis and the house property which is sold completely to the another person? Did you get the difference between the two? Tell me. So suppose your house property is on rental basis, it will be on the second heading. And suppose your house property is sold off to some another person, it is under the fourth heading. Income from capital gains. Capital means long-term assets. Long-term assets, land, long-term assets, building, long-term assets can be called as house property, long-term assets, factory, right? I'm giving you the examples of long-term assets. And if you sell it off in the market, if you sell it off to somebody else, the ownership is, now the ownership does not belongs to you. It belongs to somebody else to whom you have transferred. That is known as capital asset. And if you sell the capital assets, if you earn something from that, it is known as income from capital gains. Okay. And last but not the least is income from other sources. Now, whatever incomes which does not fit into four categories, above four categories, will come here. Whatever incomes that does not fit in above four categories from salary, house property, business or profession, vocation, and capital gains, which does not fit in these four categories, will come under the fifth heading. And which is that fifth heading? Income from other sources. Shall I give you examples? There are many such incomes which does not comes under, which does not come under salary, house property, neither business or profession, nor capital gains. Example, dividend earned. Dividend earned is salary? No. House property? No. Business, profession? No. My business is not earning dividend. My business is doing something else, buying and selling of goods. My business is I am doctor. I am teacher. My profession is something else. But I have extra money that I have invested in shares. And through that, I'm earning dividends. I've invested in fixed deposit of banks. I'm earning interest. So any kind of dividend interest is income from other sources. Gifts that we receive is income from other sources. Okay. Are you getting my example? Yes. Are you getting my example? Winning
Yes,
from
ma'am.
lotteries.
Yes, yes.
Winning from lottery. Is it the income from salary? No. House property? No. My business is not purchasing lottery tickets only. No, वो बोलते हैं ना side income. It is side business. It is an extra business. So whatever is extra that you earn is other sources. Comes under income from other sources. Winning from lottery, winning from gambling, winning from betting. There are persons who bet, शर्त लगाते हैं, है ना? Who bet that ये जीतेंगे कि वो जीतेंगे क्रिकेट में. Who will win the cricket? Yes, who will win the game? So there is a betting on that, and whosoever earns will be headed to fifth type of income, which is known as income from other sources. Is it clear, everybody? This much is the chapter. This chapter is only this much. Heads of income. There are 5 heads of income. Income from salary, house property, business or profession, capital gains, other sources. That's it. So in the next lecture, we will start